Welcome back, folks. This is another episode of It's About Payroll. We talk about some new new trending conversations in payroll today. But before we get all in that, what's up, Walt?
Good. We're at the middle of the year, the halfway point, basically. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's a good time to have these conversations and topics and stuff because the payroll landscape is changing drastically
yeah,
from what
for
we were
sure.
seeing. And so I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Amazing. It's like Andy Valentine said on the last episode. It's a great time to be in payroll right now because of all the changes, the technology.
Yeah.
It's a really big shift that is happening. I'm excited. We are at the front of that shift, continuing to
hmm
pioneer in this space. As small as we are, we're small but mighty.
Yeah. While you were talking, you know what it make me think about my
So,
time in the Navy.
oh,
Like, and I think I
please
told you
share.
this story, like where sometimes, well, when I was in, I don't know how it is now. Like, we have the radar, right? You can
Mhm.
detect like things,
Sure, sure.
ahead and stuff like that. But if you're in the middle of a storm, it'd be hard to pick up on stuff because
Like
those
where you're
those
going.
those radars might not be able to pick up all those things. So some of us had to stand out. I had to go up on the deck, the captain's deck, and like
Mhm.
stand outside with binoculars to see if there was anything coming. And I remember that we were going through, I think it was a tropical storm or something like that. And I remember the stern of the ship going under the water and coming back up like as I was
Yes,
going to destroy
bro.
those waves were like that high,
Oh,
and
heck
like
no.
some of the splashback was coming all the way up, and I had to duck and everything. So it was like a movie. It was like so scary, but also in a way like kind of like thrilling. And I know maybe that makes me like weird, but or whatever.
No,
But
no, not at all.
that made me think about it when it comes to payroll, right? Like we're getting a front row seat to see as the industry is changing, right? Some of that is going to come with, unfortunately, layoffs and changes, transformations in how a company is doing their things and their processes and stuff like that. But it's also, thrilling. So for those of you that are maybe unsure or going through that process now, I would want to encourage you to try to enjoy the ride. Like, and think of it as you're the person with the binoculars and you get to see ahead of it.
It's coming
What this company
first.
may not
Yeah.
see with the storm, you as the payroll pro, get to be able to see the things that others may not be able to see. You know what I'm saying? So
No
just
doubt.
wanted
I
to
love
encourage
that.
folks, man.
I love that. Yeah, that's really great. What I mean, some folks don't operate well in that. I mean, yeah, in that type of dynamic. What I can say to everyone is the only constant is change.
Yeah.
So, for folks who are resistant to change, you probably have a tougher time in life than most, or as opposed to folks who know that
Yeah.
is nothing but change coming, right?
Yeah.
But that's where faith comes in. That's the conversation we're always having, right? Got to
Yes,
just keep
sir.
the faith, man.
What do you got on your wall over
So,
there?
strength. Gotta have that
That's what we
strength,
need.
right?
That's what we
Yeah,
need.
no
Yeah.
doubt. I got laughter there too, though. So we gotta make sure to
You
laugh.
got to laugh too.
You gotta
Yeah.
laugh. You gotta laugh too. I was going to say, Max van der Kliesbussing. He posted something interesting the other day. His book is on the other side, that orange book there. If you're watching the video, and I posted something about payroll cutoff, and he was like, you know, there will never be an end to payroll cutoff, blah blah blah. And I was like, well, what did he mean? So I went and read the comment, read his post, read the comments, and what it begs, it forces us to clarify the difference between cutoffs. I never thought about this, right? This is why this payroll conversation doesn't end, right? It's like, okay, what cutoff are you talking about? We were just talking about the depth to payroll cutoffs and the window or whatever, and we had a great guest, Trent. I believe his first name was Trent, right? Back in the beginning of season 16. But so it begs the clarification of what cutoffs are we talking about? And there are different cutoffs. There's deadlines, cutoffs internally that you need your stakeholders to get payroll information to you for processing, right? There's cutoffs for payroll processors to synthesize and process that data into something of a preview, and you need to get that to the reviewers for approval. And then there's that final cutoff that you got to push the button so payroll hits when it's supposed to hit, right? On direct deposit. For the most part, everybody's kind of electronic these days, or it needs to hit so that those checks can go out, right? The cutoff. So there's different, and then there's a cutoff of how fast you need to move the money, right? So, it's different. And now that's all. I just wanted to call that out. Like when
That's a
we're
good
talking
call out.
about payroll cutoffs, right? We need to be more specific because clearly this post really forced us to think about all of them. Like, wait a minute, I get what they're saying. They're talking about the internal cutoffs and processing and da 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 da. We were just talking about how fast that money moves and when do you have to push the button so that your vendor can move the money,
Yeah.
right? One more thing it makes me think of that a vendor clarified for me recently is that the reason why they need 48 hours is if you have live checks, it allows them time to get that live check out and mailed out in time for check dates. And because the law is you must provide your employee access to their wages on check date. The law doesn't dictate when check date is, the company does, but the law says once you've determined check date, you must deliver on that date or you will be out of compliance. So just a few clarifying things for payrollers out there. As we move into this fundamentals, congratulations to us, man. We got to celebrate the wins. Our CPT class has officially launched. We got, right, our students are coming. It starts June 1st is our first cohort. If you're hearing this episode, there is still time for folks to get involved. The reason why this course is different is because we are teaching people how to process payroll inside of a payroll system. This, to my knowledge, is unheard of. You have to get a job first to learn how to process payroll inside of a payroll system. So that's why I'm so excited about it. Shout out to iSolve and for partnering with us. Shout out to Career Learning for partnering with us and believing in the vision. Shout out to Nerd Outfitters for also, Troy on his same he has the same vision of just educating folks with payroll. Go check his social media out. He's doing all type of lessons all over social media. He is killing social media right now. And by the way, if you sign up, you will get a free payroll nerd t-shirt or hoodie. We haven't figured out what yet, but we got a few weeks to figure it out for our students. And man, we're just super excited. The first week of it is payroll compliant, basic fundamentals, foundational payroll information, which will be recorded. So again, there's still time to join the class, jump in the first week and really catch up and be good for the rest of the 5 weeks. And the next cohort will be in the fall, I believe. And we're just, and then every quarter after that.
Yeah, then by that time we're gonna have on demand and we're gonna be building this thing out.
Yes.
So stay tuned. This thing is just gonna keep growing, and we appreciate all your support, man.
And absolutely. And not only that, I'm not gonna say names, but there are various people around the world developing payroll courses available that are gonna be available to us.
It's about time, man.
Thank you. There are more options out there. I do also want to give a shout out to the Payroll Learning. It is a great content filled system and learning. So that is another option as well. There's options out there, folks, and more to come. Look out, be on the lookout, because these past 2 years, look at all the payroll books that are available here. There's another row here. I got to fix it so that all of them are in visual. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not like 10 payroll books out there that are not textbooks, right?
Think about this, and let me know if this makes sense before we move on to the main topics here. Like payroll in stages. So we're hitting it from all sides. You have, most of the time, the majority of it has been like payroll while you're in payroll. How can you continue to grow and stuff, which is great. You know, we're not trying to knock that, but
Nope.
you know, like, what about prior to payroll? Like, what is even payroll? Like
Mm-hmm.
educating folks on what
Exactly.
payroll is. That's another, I think, initiative that, like you just mentioned, like while we, you know, like different people in the world, nerd outfitters, what we're trying to educate common, you know, people who are unaware of this stuff to get them interested in payroll, whether that's a career or learning more about their paychecks just in general, like financial literacy, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then and then we haven't even considered like post payroll career. Like
Oh,
what can
yeah.
you could you educate people on that? What could you offer? Like that might be something to look at eventually as well,
Payroll
you know,
adjacent
payroll
careers.
adjacent, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot of different things to look at when it's, and I think it's exciting because we're kind of shaping and molding, you know, these things as we grow as a community and the payroll.
Hey, everybody. Got a quick question for you. Is your job easy, stress free, and full of rainbows and sunshine every single day? Yeah, I'd say that's a big fat no. Hi, I'm David Noe, host of Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners, and proud to be part of the Work Defined community. Take a step down into my Speakeasy live on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we tackle HR and business challenges through raw, uncut, unfiltered conversations. This is HR like you've never heard it before, bold, real, and full of practical takeaways. Real guests, bold insights, authentic conversations that drive change. Catch every episode on demand through your favorite podcast platform or all the content at speakeasyhr.com.
Professionals, you know, so
Yep.
man, I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, no, me too, man. And again, shout out to the recent published authors. Nick Day just published the Payroll Pivot. Max just published a new book, his second book, and I think in what 2 or 3 years or something like that, he's killing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, please, folks, there's a ton of info out there. There's more resources, more to come. Like, share, and click click all the things and subscribe, all the things. Tell a friend to tell a friend about it, because payroll is growing and we're out there. Oh, check out our book. Hello. I gotta buy some author copies so I can keep posting. And we got some signed ones that we got to get out. You know, please feel free to request a signed copy. No problems. So let's get into it because we jabbering on here forever.
Yeah.
You want to start us off here, man? What are we talking about today?
Yeah. So payroll has changed, right? You know, I think lots of people, even still, especially those who are outside of payroll, they see it as a back office function, right? And it really isn't anymore, right? You know, like payroll used to be just strictly, I think, viewed as an administrative task or role, right? And now, you know, payroll encompasses, you know, compliance, the employee experience,
Yes.
retention,
Yes.
cybersecurity,
Yes.
AI,
Yes.
financial wellness and literacy,
Yes.
corporate reputation, right?
Yes.
All those different things that I remember myself in my own career, I wasn't thinking about that because all I was thinking about is like being as accurate with my payrolls as possible and getting all those checks, you know, stuff. This is when I had the stuff checks and stuff like that. That's the only thing that was really on
so
my
funny.
mind and like just processing, right?
Mhm.
But as payroll changed, the role changed, the landscape changed, we realized that payroll could touch so many other avenues of
Everything.
things, and it impacted so many different things, right? So let me ask you a question, Brian, and then like, when was the moment for you that you realized that payroll had come more strategic?
That's a really great question. I think you think about your answer while I'm answering here. It happened. I was really lucky for it to happen early on. In my first payroll job, I had a really great mentor, or two actually. Erica Lee. Shout out to Erica Lee. We'll always love her. She was like a auntie type when I first started, and we still, you know, connect today. And my corporate controller at the time, Andy Stewart, smart as a whip, and really taught me how to the details and things like that. And then like just but specifically when I saw it was strategic and it could impact a company in a bigger way is when we had a, how can I sum it up really quick? There was a way for the company to save money by capturing these payroll numbers that needed to be charged back to respective, let's say, business units, cost centers type of thing, right? The business operated in a way that it was kind of like a business that also the folks, it was sales and commercial real estate. So some of these brokers operated as their own businesses, right? So there was a way to capture the payroll costs because it was in their contract that, hey, we might hire an administrative assistant for you, but we're going to charge that salary back to your business.
Yeah.
So, but you needed to do it manually at the time. It was some manual impact, and we had to capture the payroll data the right way, the right data, and charge it back to the system. And the system had a way of each individual business had its own earnings statement and things like that. And, and like we saw that, and it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, that we were able to save on the business's bottom line that were charged back to the businesses within the business, right? And it's its respective cost center. So that was the first time I was like, oh, whoa, this has impact. Like I probably didn't realize it at the time, but I'm looking back on it like that was the first strategic moment. And I still do refer back to it. And anytime I'm talking about how payroll saves money and then any type of exhaustive lists of things, resumes, things like that when we're talking. So yeah, that was the first time. And it was my first payroll job over 20 years ago. Yeah, what about you?
I would say, man, it was also at a place that, after I got out of the military, because I used to process payroll in the military, right? And it was just, still didn't have an understanding of, really everything that went into it. It was a mistake that I made at my first civilian job back from the military. And I was just trying to help someone.
Can you talk about the mistake?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't thinking of it on a company level. I was very short-sighted when I made this change.
It just started now.
I went in and made a change to a tax rate that needed to be updated, right? But I didn't change it in the right place. I changed it in the wrong place. So it ended up impacting everyone in that particular company, right?
Okay.
And so that was a huge mistake, right? And I had to learn from that. It's the only time in my career that I had been like really counseled and written up. It's the only time in my career. Yeah. So that
in
was
the beginning. So that's good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, it was one of those things where like, well, you have to look at everything that this will impact going forward. Ask questions, you can, one of the words that the manager at the time, I remember, I won't forget her name. I won't ever forget her name. Her name was Robin. And she told me, she said, Walt, you have to be more thoughtful, mindful, and strategic about these type of changes. And so that is when that started to open up because I was like, man, I never want to, this was embarrassing for me. Again. I never want to go through that again. Like she threw me a new one. And she was like, you better be glad, because this is technically a fireable offense, or whatever.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it was that big of an issue. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm going to venture this.
Thank God it was only one client out of the 100 clients that I had.
Right.
But look, it impacted all that.
That
group
was
of employees.
Oh, that was also wasn't in the military. It was after you got out of the military.
After, yeah.
Okay.
But
so now
because the military was just kind of cut and dry. Your interest stuff. It was just like, but there was a whole different, and we didn't do all that in the military. So I was learning on the fly here. And
so still kind of at the beginning of still. Yeah. No, I get it.
It was my first,
civilian payroll.
5 years. Yeah. Right. First ever civilian. So you know what I'm saying?
Oh, first ever civilian job also. So you didn't. Oh, wow. So you went right into the military. No. This is off the subject, but did you have any jobs before the military? Like, I don't know, grocery store or stuff like that?
So I worked at what was that? Sports Authority.
Oh, okay. Before the military.
Gotcha. In high school for a little bit.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
But I'm talking about after learning payroll in the military, my first
civilian
payroll job. Yes.
Got it.
So
it's a good one.
I had to learn through a mistake. So, all right, man.
I mean, that's the best learning though.
Yeah. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can learn from other people's mistakes too.
yeah, that takes a yes. Agreed. Before we get caught up in
So
that, then let's keep going.
so
Where we at? 20.
so
Yeah,
so look, I think this next statement is still true today. Nobody notices payroll until payday goes wrong,
absolutely
right?
right. Yep.
And sometimes it's okay to compare, payroll to, referees in sports, calling out those different things, that's what referees are there to do. Even though the linemen, the offensive linemen, they're to protect the quarterback. You think about the quarterback in this case being the company, or the reputation of the company, or even those air traffic controllers. What do you got to say?
That, yes, this is all true for those three examples you gave. The offensive lineman one is it sticks out very interestingly right now because it's almost full circle, right? When I was playing high school football in Eden, North Carolina, the Moorhead Panthers there was an offensive lineman coach. He was a hellcat, man. Like, he gave us so much hell with practice and everything. And he would, oh my goodness. And he would be like, come over to the basketball, come over to the offensive line. And I'm be like, nah, I said, there's no glory on the offensive line. And he was like, what? You're crazy. Offensive line, most important. Like, just, and I was like, this guy was all, because I wanted to play linebacker. I played linebacker and running back. That's what I would be. I mean, you got to pick, right? When you play school, high school, young ball, you play both ways. Because that to me was all, it still gives me the chills talking about it. Like, that to me was all the glory, right? And look, fast forward, I'm actually a payroll person and it's getting compared to offensive linemen. And just like he said, it's the most important position in the team. You know what I mean? You protect the quarterback, right? And as payroll
Protect the
folk,
quarterback.
we are protecting the company and the employee.
Putting it even closer to what you said about the running back, right? Because you think about all the flashy running backs and stuff, all the different moves and stuff like that. Nobody talks about the lineman blocking down the field for them. You know what I'm saying? Like creating those openings and those spaces, creating space for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
That's right.
allowing those running backs to
get those
utilize
yards.
their talent.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
There you go, man.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Hey, everybody. I'm Lori Rudiman. What are you doing? Working? Nah. You're listening to a podcast about work, and that barely counts. So while you're at it, check out my show, Punk Rock HR, now on the Work Defined Network. We chat with smart people about work, power, politics, and money. Are we succeeding? Are we fixing work? Probably not. Work still sucks, but tune in for some fun, a little nonsense, and a fresh take on how to fix work once and for all.
Before I pass it on to you, there's a fun fact. I don't know if it's fun, but research in 2026 shows that payroll leaders are increasingly being pulled into executive level conversations around compliance, budgeting, data governance, and employee experience. I say that if you're starting to find yourself pulled into those things, reach out to those people that are in your network. If you don't know, say you don't know, but that you do research. Don't shy away from those things. I think it's just going to help just even increase and make your career better. So I say just continue to do that. So, Brian, what's the next topic for us to discuss, man?
The next one is employees don't want paydays anymore, right? If Uber is instant, Amazon's instant, streaming is instant, why are employees still waiting 2 weeks for money they already earned? And we talk about this. We just talked about this about real money movement. Now, this is probably probably a bigger discussion than what we're going to capture here. But we'll hit some points here, right? Younger workers increasingly expect flexibility because they grew up in the Cash App, Venmo era. PayPal was the first one. Don't forget PayPal. They kind of, I think, really pioneered that space. And what that translates into payroll right now, the closest thing you got is earned wage access or the payroll providers that are embracing and trying to normalize same day pay, right? Now you can't. And again, this gets very tricky as the conversation continues because you got to remember, you got to work the hours first, right? So even in a world where you can, and earned wage access does give you that access to daily pay, but it's yesterday's pay, folks. It's not today's pay. Well, let me rephrase. In most cases, it's yesterday's pay because I think there are scenarios where it could be the same day. And for the most part, companies that do embrace it, they'll at least want to wait the day to make sure your shift ends. And then it depends on when your shift ends, right? If the store is open, if it's a store and you're open all day long, then and that shift has to end for you to get paid for it, right? We can't pay you for stuff that we don't know if you worked or not yet. That's right. So instant, waiting 2 weeks definitely is not necessary anymore. Probably weekly is more of a realistic goal for pays. Another thing is financial stress is changing expectations around paying time.
Yes.
So you go ahead. You want to jump in? Yeah.
No, absolutely. Because think about it. The economic times that we're in right now, collectively as a country, we're all feeling the crunch. At the gas pump, at the grocery store, we're all feeling these things. So people are accessing their funds more. I have a friend, they just implemented like on-demand pay at their work, right? And at first, they didn't see that many people using it, but now, they're seeing a lot more people access their funds after working a day because, people need their funds. Like, hey, I can't wait until next
2 weeks, or heaven forbid, it's semi-monthly.
Yep. Yeah, so, and look, this goes with that next statement there, right? And, earned wage access is moving from perk to expectation.
It is. I think that already happened. I started working with an amazing young HR professional last year that put me on to it and was like, I think what happened was like the earned wage access at that job was kind of, it broke. The connection broke for a week or two. And she panicked and she was like, whoa, wait, we'll lose people if this doesn't get fixed. And I was like, really? It's like that? And she's like, yeah, this is expected. This is not a perk. And I was like, oh, wow. And it really started making me look at it in a very different way. So, because really, I'm not spoiled. I'm just dating myself. Earned wage access came out in a time where I had already been a salaried employee for a long time. So earned wage access wasn't around when I was an hourly employee. It would have been amazing because it would have changed the game for me. But as we've talked about in the show a lot, is I was a victim of predatory lending, payday loans back then in my time. That's all you had to do because that was the only option, right? That was the only option. You broke and you needed money in between check days. It's like, oh my goodness.
Bro,
yeah. So, I believe that is true. It is definitely an expectation now. Whether it's helping or creating a dependency for folks, I think will always be an open debate. At the end of it, it really comes down to the person and how they manage their funds. Like, if you don't manage your funds well, these tools don't matter. You're still just going to be bad at it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because it was the same thing with those payday advances and loans. I got caught up in a cycle where I had to use one and then use another one. And then and just once you start going, it's like a slippery slope because, earned wage access, on-demand pay, people are thinking like, oh, I'm going to use this money now. And they might not be seeing in the future and saying, well, my next check comes.
You're impacting yes, it is.
It's just going to be this continuous thing. So, people can become very dependent on it. So let me ask you this, man. Is biweekly payroll outdated in your mind?
I mean, I don't think it's outdated yet. I think it's on the verge. I think we're right at that conversation right now where companies are like, should we move to to weekly? Or I think the solve for it is if they don't want to move to weekly, that they get earned wage access, because then the data shows that the companies that move to earned wage access, the employees kind of just create a weekly pay cycle for themselves, right? More so than daily, and it begs, could weekly or daily become the future? I think just more of a real-time money movement is the future.
Yeah.
Once we can solve for that at the payroll level, then we can talk about how it should impact processing. right?
Yep.
If not every bank, like Trent said and taught us, like real-time money movement depends on both banks. My bank can do it, but if your bank doesn't accept it, then it won't happen, right? Same day pay and still has always and for a long time been a capability, but your payroll vendor has to adopt it. The ACH rule already allows for same day payment, but there are cutoff times that are involved. You can't do same day pay all day, right? So I think once we move to, I think the real time money movement has to go first and then work backwards from there as far as how aggressive your company wants to be with payroll operations, payroll cutoffs as it relates to real time money movement. Because then are you processing every day? Are you processing every other day? You know, how does it work? Because it has to, you know, now you really have to bring your accounting team into the conversation more so that we can understand. That's another big call out is the way cash moves. Hey, an employee may want to get paid daily, but can the business sustain cash going out the door every single day? Right? The business, whatever it is, has to get money in the door. You know what I mean? So small businesses, they can't handle that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right, as a consultant right now, most of my clients are billed monthly. But how am I going to pay somebody weekly if I don't get paid till next month? Right? Unless I have a big reserve. And that means you're a mature, like, so there's all these implications and things that have to be factored into this. So like I said, it's a much bigger conversation that we can cover here. But I think we give enough, we give people enough, right, to go ahead and think about it. So let me share this some fun facts, like you said. Experts say pay speed is becoming a major expectation. Agreed. I think also the financial stress among employees continues to rise. Many Americans reporting paycheck to paycheck challenges. Agreed. As we know, it's like, depending on the survey, it's like between 60 and 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Surveys in 2026 show many payroll leaders now see earned wage access as part of employee financial wellness strategy, as they should. And that hopefully that continues to get better, because as we've been doing the research, a lot of, that says payroll leaders, but the other leaders in the organization don't understand earned wage access. And some of them are insensitive to the employees' needs for it. And they're like, well, we already pay them. Why do I got to do this? I don't need to do that. So,
yeah, man.
You know.
So, yeah, you know how that percent has gone up, you know, because I think a couple of years ago, we were saying 60 to 70%. Now they're saying like 76, closer to 80% of Americans.
That's what I'm saying.
Paycheck to paycheck.
And you know what? I think that is because of the current state of the economy and prices. I mean, gas is up to $5 a gallon. You know, the other day I kind of dazed off at the pump. Excuse me. And when I was like, oh crap, it didn't have a cutoff. I was like, oh crap, I'm going to spend too much money on gas. I'm thinking, oh, I just filled my tank up. Nope. You know, it was like, like, holy cow, so anyway, as I pass it off to you, we got to ask, payroll used to ask, did we pay correctly? Now payroll's asking, did we pay people the way they expect to be paid?
Optimize your business with a Workforce AI Edge powered by Visier. Make smarter decisions and achieve better outcomes with real-time AI insights delivered to every people leader. Explore more at visier.com.
That's a good question. A different question. Yeah.
Yep. It's a different question.
So let's talk about AI. And, AI is definitely entering payroll. I think it's entering carefully. But, AI, like Celery, the guys at Celery, they're using AI to detect errors before payroll closes, finding those anomalies and everything. Tax validations, predictive compliance, employee chatbot support, faster audits, payroll analytics. I think that, we should ask a couple of questions about AI, right? And we're going to speed this up here. So, because we're getting close to time here, and I definitely want to do the lightning round with you, because I think it has some fun questions, Brian. So
cool.
Look, should AI ever approve payroll without human intervention or review? That's an easy answer.
No.
Right.
Oh, not right now. No. Yeah. No.
So let me ask you this: would you trust AI with your paycheck?
Conceptually, yes.
Okay.
Conceptually, yes, but it means that I would need to understand more about how the AI is built and all that. Like, so yeah.
All right. And what happens if AI were to get payroll wrong?
No different than what happens now. If the person gets it wrong, it's got to get fixed.
Yep.
That's
Because
it.
look, even if it's a learning model of AI, right? Like if you put something in there and you tell them to look at the wrong thing or the wrong data, it could get something wrong, it could miss something based on
Absolutely.
what it's programmed to do, right?
Yeah.
And
It's no
so,
different than us getting it wrong. Yeah.
that means we'll just have to, do a different job. So, do you agree with this statement that these examples that AI could probably never fully understand about payroll? You think it will fully understand retro pays,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
time card excuses?
I mean, not time card excuses, but no, it's not going to understand human bullshit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Multi-state tax nightmares.
Absolutely. Better than we can. And it's going to do it better than we can. I think a lot of people are scared of saying AI is going to do this better.
So,
You understand?
yes,
The black
agreed.
and white, the calculations, the
Yes.
logic.
Yes. Agreed. So I think we agree, and like everything you said, I agree with. AI is going to help with speed, automation, error
Absolutely.
detection, but it's still going to
Accuracy.
require human intervention. Like you said, those
Yeah.
pilots, right? We're going to
Payroll
be
pilots.
payroll
Yep.
pilots.
Yep.
Compliance oversight. I think even if something is missed, I think people are going to appreciate the human interaction, right? Like, hey, I don't want to talk to an AI chat support bot. I want to talk to a human to get myself squared away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Go ahead. I got two things. Go. When you finish, I got two things to share. Oops, sorry.
I just did something. So
Sorry
look,
about that.
fun fact, industry reporting shows that AI is increasingly being used for payroll validation, anomaly detection, and automation. But experts warn that fragile payroll systems and disconnected data remain major issues. So even still, this is just saying, like, even with AI, if you have bad data, you're going to have bad results, right?
And yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
that,
what did you have?
so two things. The way I see, one of the possibilities that I see payroll evolving, especially with the Bettys of the world, right? I have the privilege of working inside of Paycom right now for one of my clients, and it's a good system. And it took a little getting used to that. Employees can see their check before I'm done, right? But it's a double-edged sword. It also gives you the opportunity to pay them right and get it right the first time instead of waiting till payday and then they're more upset and they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna, which reminds me, I gotta check some definition.
Look at that.
Yep. So I think that with AI, like if AI is doing it and the employee can preview their check while AI is processing, you can talk to the AI and say, this isn't right. What about my blah, blah, blah? Or I had more hours. What's right? And force the AI to go look and, and do the legwork. So that's one thing. We could possibly communicate it with. And then the other one was, damn man, what was it? It was in here somewhere. Dang it. I'll think of it when it comes back. I'll bring it up randomly. Go ahead.
This has been a fun conversation.
Yep.
Let's go to this lightning round.
Let's do it.
Payroll hot takes. It's the first
Okay.
time we're doing this, so you can say yes or no.
Okay.
Try to
That's
give
cool.
a short answer. Look, you may have a different answer, but just say yes or no. Right? All right. There's six up. I think there's six of them. Yeah. So payroll checks will completely disappear.
Yes. What do you think?
Yes. Eventually,
Okay.
I think people are going to have different. There's going to be digital payment.
Only.
Everyone.
Yep.
All right. AI will process most payrolls within 10 years.
Yes.
I think no.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, no, that's good.
Because of small business, right?
Mm.
So daily pay will become the norm.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree with you there as well. I
with
think
payroll,
this
right?
is
Like you
gonna be
need
more.
time,
Yeah,
right? We're too
yeah,
stuck
yeah.
in it. Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Payroll titles will become more strategic.
Yes,
Agreed. Payroll should have a seat in the C-suite.
I don't know about this one. It's a really good debate. I don't
I
know.
say yes. I say
Okay.
yes, but it depends on the structure of the company.
I think it depends on the
Because-
business. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but I think yes. And for larger companies, yes, I think so.
I think it should always have impact, which it doesn't. Like the impact is not going to the C-suite, whoever their leader is. That's not happening. I think that should happen. Whether we should be the chief payroll officer, I think that's makes sense for our business because we're a payroll business, right? Chief payroll officer is me and you, like, because we run a payroll business, right? But if you don't run a payroll business, like, you know what I mean? Do you need a chief payroll officer if you don't run a payroll business? Maybe not. You just need either the CFO or the CPO or whatever, you know, I don't know. So anyway, it's the next one.
Last one, payroll professionals deserve higher salaries.
I think it's debatable. Only because yes, but some of us are already making those higher salaries, and if your company's already paying you what you're worth, then no. I think it's better worded that more payroll professionals are underpaid, I guess. Something but yeah, it needs yes for the greater good. Yes.
Yes, I just say yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you gotta say yes.
Pay all my
people.
payroll people. Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right, man. This has been a great, episode. We had more to talk about, but we can add those things.
Yeah, it's all good
stuff all
stuff.
day.
Yeah, for real.
What are the messages here? Payroll isn't just about numbers. It impacts life, right? It impacts rent payments, groceries, daycare, or childcare.
Yeah. Health.
Peace of mind.
Yeah,
right?
medical. Yeah.
So as payroll evolves, the people behind payroll matter more than ever, right?
I want to ask folks what I'm talking about because I want to ask the listeners
go ahead.
some stuff. Okay.
Go ahead.
It got me riled up. What payroll trends are out there that you guys are getting excited about? What worries you? Right? Engagement. I said we got a LinkedIn page. You can hit us up there. You can hit us up on comments in Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen.
Yeah.
And what do you think about earned wage assets? Do you use it now? Do you want it? Do you need it at your company? Like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend, and keep listening. What's good? End it up for us.
Get those books.
Get all the payroll books. Yep. Get all the payroll books, folks. Word up. We're running a digital sale on now. It's only $2.99 for the digital version.
Yep.
So, until the next time, folks, we love you. Peace.